something.
All right, hey, welcome back to the Condo Online. I'm Chase Johnson Lynch, and we've been doing a series of mental health awareness live shots. This is into our second week, and today we have another young man, another young artist, that we've been looking at, working with for some time. Haven't seen him for a while, to the point where he came to us last year named Smith, and and now he changed his name. So we'll introduce him as the new name of Dionysus.
That is it.
Welcome, Dionysus.
Thank you for having me on.
Well, listen, man. First of all, Dionysus. I mean, we got to talk about that because we know it's a name change, but we had a quick discussion about it. And Dionysus is who?
The Greek god of partying.
The Greek god of partying. I actually think it's the Greek god of wine. But then
Well, that's a party.
it is a party when you drink some wine. But then it was like, oh man, that's the Greek god. I said, why the Greek god? Why not the Roman god? And then we would go, well, what's the Roman god's name? And it was Bacchus.
Bacchus, yeah.
So I guess Dionysus sounded better.
Yeah, got more of a ring to it, I think.
Well, listen, man. Any sign of education in a rapper is good to me because it was like a way of relating. It's like you must know a lot about Greek mythology, which I happen to be a big fan of.
I know a little bit about it.
A little bit about it, a little bit about the party.
Yeah. Party with it, basically. Yeah.
Well, I will say that if I saw that name on a poster, Smith or Dionysus, I would be more interested in the Dionysus guy.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I hear you on that. That's all good. So Dionysus, pretty much, as a young man, I asked you how long have you been in the art of rapping, and you said
3 years.
3 years. So you're still a newbie into the game.
Yeah, I am at the moment. I've been working on tracks for about 6 months properly. Now I'm doing it properly by myself in my bedroom, just all at home in the studio and recording beef and that. So I've been doing it properly for about that long. But I've just been working on
one of them bedroom rappers. We get it. You know what I mean? The guy that puts like the bed sheet over the toilet. But what I like about what you were saying when we were, doing the show notes is that it's not just about that because you were moving into the producing side or learning about the producing side of creating your own beats.
Definitely, yeah.
Just give us a little bit of an insight in there because as an artist, when you're performing, you have to buy beats, don't you?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
The reason I wanted to get into the producing side of it more, it's because when you listen to the music behind the rapping and stuff, you can have your own style in that as well as the rapping. So if you want to stand out as an artist even more, then if you look into getting into that, you can go anywhere with that really.
Yes,
a lot to it. It's like when the Beatles brought rock music into Liverpool, that was from America, and they brought that here and just blew up everywhere. So it's about having your own style musically. Definitely plays a big part in it.
No, definitely. Because there's a lot of backstory into that one. But you went to LMA, which is Liverpool Music Academy, for music performance, and now you're at the City of Liverpool College, which we used to be at. So before we were Condo Online, we were showrunners, and we were over there at the City of Liverpool College. So I know a lot of the people over here. Kojo, who's no longer there, and Mike Moran, good friend of mine. So shout out to Mike Moran.
Mike Moran.
You know what I mean? You gotta give it to him. So obviously, this is kind of, I wouldn't say it's a touchy subject, but I would just say is, I'll preface it by saying, why rap?
Rap. I like the expression in rap music, the poetry behind it.
Yeah.
And I like the tempo of it more these days because with trap music it's like 160 beats per minute, which you can play at clubs and that, and it'll just go really hard and that. Or you can either go old school and have it dead laid back, which is 90 beats per minute, and just chill to it and just
I love it when you bring mathematics into the equation. Get it what I just said? But
with the bad jokes, Chase.
Oh, dad jokes. I am a dad. But the thing about it is that you were singing initially though, right?
Yeah, it was definitely.
Yeah. So I mean, what was wrong with that, or what was different about that?
I used to
Did they try to force you into a boy band or something?
No, like, I used to be like a really cringy kid back in school.
What does that mean, cringy kid?
Like cheesy, like really cheesy.
Kind of like Dad Joke Me, right?
Yes, a lot worse. Like,
you gotta give me an example of that there.
Like, I used to like sing on the playground to people and stuff. It was that bad.
You were that kid.
Really?
No, but that was because you loved it though, isn't it?
Yeah, I loved it. Like, but I remember one time there was like, I was singing on the playground and that, and there was like the whole year basically surrounded me, and
Right.
one of the teachers had to drag me out of the crowd. And
Is that because they liked you or because they were laughing at you?
like, they were thinking I was going to get into trouble for it at the time. Like, they were going to give me like a detention for it. For singing on the playground.
Gee, man, what school is that? Don't tell me.
Isn't it though?
No, I just don't get it. I mean, because you're, like you just said, you're expressing yourself. And then, then it seems like you've always been doing it to the point where it's like, well, let's see, how can I do this more calmer or safer or, or
maybe,
whatever.
Maybe they thought there was a fight on the playground or
yeah, well, I would get that. I would get that, the big whole circle around this kid and everything, going on. Now, I mean, this is interesting because we were going to go there and, talking about school because as a young person, we know that we're here for Mental Health Awareness Week. And, it's really good kind of like talking to a young person like yourself who have different experiences around mental health awareness. Because mainly it's about breaking the stigma and having the conversation.
Yeah,
and everything, Just before we go into that, I just want to just say, it's Do Rag Tuesday. So, I should have said that at the beginning. It's like, Chase, what's that rap on your head? But you know what I'm saying? It's Do Rag Tuesday.
Do Rag Tuesday.
There we go.
Do Rags.
Hey, bro, you know what I'm saying? I know you're jealous. But he's like, no, I'm not. But, so let's talk about, the anxiety or mental health because, it sounds like when you told me that, you've been facing anxiety over different periods, you didn't do it at the time when you were singing. But, but if you were a young man who enjoyed that kind of expression, maybe it's being closed down and trying to be something you're not. I don't know. You tell me.
Definitely. Well, I think like the way it was for me at the time was like the way to get out of the anxiety was to just get in front of those like crowds of people and not just to like prove to myself that I could be alright in front of that many people and not like just overthink stuff at the time, like proving that, if that makes sense to you.
It does a little bit because, I think that a lot of people face anxiety or what they call different types of course, but like having butterflies. And a lot of people get those butterflies in their stomach because they have to come out of themselves. Like they have to allow people to see them for who they are. Mm-hmm. And then, in a young person, it's like, I don't care. I love singing.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to sing, right? Like the Sing cartoon. But it did seem like that was too much of a problem in your younger days because you didn't mention that. But it seems like, but later when you changed your choice of music, then it seemed to be a problem. What did you think?
I don't know really. At the time, it was like, I think the anxiety really came along because I wasn't occupying myself with things to do. Because when you're at home and you're doing the same stuff every day and you're not like changing anything you're doing and you're just repeating the same cycle over and over again, it can like mess with people's heads. It's like,
well, can you give me an example? Because
like
obviously you got to get up every day, go to school every day, come home every day. So what kind of cycle repeat are we talking about?
Cabin fever's the best way to explain it. I think cabin fever.
Do you have any brothers and sisters?
I don't actually. I do. I have 3 half brothers.
Yeah. Half brothers always still blood. But they didn't live with you. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
So you grew up as an only child.
I grew up with just me mum basically.
Right.
So I've been with me mum for 18 years, and just a few months ago I got back in contact with my dad. So I realised like.
So are these brothers older or younger?
Younger, they are. So one of them's 11, 8, and 1. So
Wow.
basically just found that out like a few months ago that I've got like a whole other family. Which
Dude, I did that. I mean, you know, Papa was a Rolling Stone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got like 3 sisters from different mothers, so I totally get it. I would just encourage you always go to those brothers because blood is blood, and neither of you have anything to do with the situation.
Yeah.
But then it's like it's always going to be tied together. So
Yeah.
that's just my recommend in there, man. You know,
Yeah.
if you're the oldest, you know, they want to see you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
definitely.
And stuff. But I mean, I can also see though what you're saying about the anxiety or cabin fever because up until the knowledge,
Yeah.
you know,
yeah.
it was just you and
Yeah.
mom. So it's like I can see
Definitely.
that.
Mm.
What kind of cabin fever? Bouncing off the walls or?
Yeah, I think at the time as well I was thinking about my dad a lot when I wasn't seeing him as well. So
Yeah, of
that might
course.
have played a part
Oh,
in
yeah.
it psychologically
Yeah.
as well. So what's the word called? Like subconsciously think
Yeah.
like that
That's a good
type
word.
as well.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, no, because also too is that I mean you mentioned then I mean like I guess we could go there. You know, is that you have an uncle who was you know prescribed the wrong kind of prescription as you were saying. You want to say a little bit more about that because
Yeah.
I assume he was in your life if
Yeah.
your father wasn't and everything like
yeah,
that. So,
yeah. I mean, my uncle's always been like a father figure to me.
yeah.
The whole time he wasn't there, but basically he was on the wrong medication for 10 years and it was an antipsychotic medication.
Yeah.
So when he came off that medication he ended up getting submitted to a ward in Broad Green called Broad Oak Unit basically, and they didn't know at the time when they prescribed this medication what it was going to be doing to him
Yeah.
when he came off it. So he was like dependent on this medication basically, when all he really needed was like a slight sedative to just numb like certain parts of his brain, but
Yeah.
nothing like that, nothing antipsychotic or anything
Yeah, yeah.
like that.
Well, that also has to be kind of nerve-wracking for a young man who, like, his father's not there and then his uncle is, you know what I mean? And then having to, you know,
It was
kinda cope.
hard at the time because like when he was in that state, like honestly, like everyone was just thinking like it's like that thought like what if he doesn't go back to normal like after that and stuff. I was just thinking like some of the side effects of like these medicines they're given out to people just at random and don't even know what effect that's gonna
They
have
just,
on
they
their
just give you
brain.
like some pill. Oh, okay, let me just
Yeah.
prescribe that for you
Yeah.
and
I
everything.
mean, I know illegal ones aren't good, but some of the legal ones as well.
Yeah,
though,
exactly.
both just as bad. Some of them, like Xanax, codeine, just
Yeah, Zoloft, I'm thinking of.
everything. Prozac,
Yeah.
I can go on probably.
Yeah, because they give it to you, they would give it to you, and then that person goes home, and then you're in that house
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff, and you're dealing with the aftermath.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, no, that's an interesting way of looking at it because also you were saying this while this was going on for like about like 10 years, you're also now having to go to school.
Yeah,
And so you were saying like, so now you're in school and you're having some anxiety issues because they're not actually concerned about what's going on for you at home.
yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that.
I think after what happened to my uncle, it affected me a lot more, definitely. So like going into college thinking about stuff like that obviously led me to think like, well, what if something like that happens to me? What if I turn out like that?
So why wouldn't you think that if you're a kid and everything?
yeah. So it's going into college like overthinking like a lot of stuff. So then that's when like it develops properly. Like so.
Yeah, because I mean, when you were talking about anxiety, you were really talking about it more in a social anxiety way, where it's that like how people going to see me, how it's going to affect me, and then when you're actually choosing different things musically, because you know you're like you said, you were an LMA first, and then you went on to Coke and stuff like that. City of Liverpool College.
Did you just say Coke?
Coke, man, City of Liverpool College.
Coke. With
City of Liverpool
L.
College.
With an L.
I did say it with an L. But you had these different interests, so obviously it separated you a little bit then.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, people were more into different styles and stuff in college and all of that. So when like you're away from all that and like you kind of just doing the rapping when people are like more into your singing and that, it's hard to find common ground. It's not like any of them were like ignoring me or anything like that. I'm not saying like I was disconnected with any of them.
They just didn't understand what your taste in music was.
I think so, yeah. I mean, some people just gravitate more towards each other when they've got interests, obviously, but yeah, it's just different interests. Really.
But it also doesn't help when a person is an only, you know, and everything, and you're going to school where you're hoping to relate to other kids your age, but then if you're feeling isolated, you know, you can overthink, or you could take things a little bit too sensitively as well. You know, in that way, isn't it? Yeah. Definitely. But I mean, anxiety is still something that a lot of people need to talk about, because I think what we've often learned with these conversations is communication is the key. And usually it's like people find themselves in these situations where they can't communicate. Some of them don't communicate, like, oh, I'm not worthy or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But then again, it's like, well, what could we do about that? And obviously it's like, everybody's got their own lives and things that they want to do, but it's kind of like, it's I won't say it's false, but it's that crazy thing where, you know, they've ignored a person, and then that person commits suicide, and then they go, oh my God, he was the greatest person ever! You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's really kind of like some false really hood, and that's what I just was trying to say about this conversation, because you're really talking about a simplistic way of feeling ignored where people could have not done that.
Yeah,
you see what I mean?
Right. Like,
Does
I
that
think
make sense?
no matter like what people are interested in or whatever, you should talk to everyone. Everyone should talk to everyone.
It takes
like,
5 minutes to have a conversation.
Literally, and I think now as well, if you go out and have a drink or whatever, and like you start talking to someone, I'm not saying everyone's like this, but if like you just try to have a random conversation with someone in a bar, some people find it really weird to do that now, which is strange, I think.
No, definitely.
Very strange.
I mean, you know, like, I'm American, and I come from the American teen movies and all of that other kind of stuff. And it was always about, like, diversity, but in a bad way. It was always about, like, this is the social group, this is the proper group, this is the geeks, and everything else like that. But then you have, like, those movies, which I really like, is when there's one group that is very diverse, of different people, but they're the coolest people in the movie. That's why we're making a movie about them. You get me? And I mean, we don't really see that, do we? It's like, I mean, everybody just wants to go into their own camp. I mean, as a young person, what do you think? I mean, like in Liverpool and all of that, do you find that they follow that kind of model of, I wouldn't call it individualism, but let's just call it like groups, you know, like packs? Yeah,
I think some people find it more comfortable to be around a group of people that they relate themselves with too. So like, it goes back to like when we were in packs ourselves, you know what I mean? Like hunting for survival. And like that's the psychology behind it. So it's people have to be with that group to feel accepted, and they can't go and talk to like the nerds or whatever, you know, geeks or whatever. And they can't. It's better to ostracize than to acclimate. And everything, and I mean, we even talked about that a little bit, where it's like even in that group, even in that pack of the sameness, there's always going to be someone who has to be less than the other. Do you know what I mean? Like when we were talking about it, someone has to be the best, don't they? Well, not the best, the worst, because that person is least less than me. So that's where you get that pack mentality. It's kind of like, oh well, no, somebody got to be less than me. Here he comes, you know, and everything. Did you ever feel that kind of situation? Well, when I was in school, my group wasn't really like that. I mean, no one really tried to be better than anyone in my group in school. But did they make fun of the person who was less than? We didn't really have that in. Really? That's good. With my friend group, that's why I was friends with them, because they didn't like choose, oh, you're better than him, whatever. And like that's why I stayed around them really. But I think there were like a certain hierarchy in school as well. And I wasn't at the bottom of it, but people definitely were, like, and
Yeah.
it's definitely bad on some people to like go through that.
Yeah, but see, I think that's what we see played out in films a lot, is that when you have a diverse group, you know, you don't have this need to be better than someone else or step on someone or anything like that. And that is why, like, when you watch the movies, it's kind of like, yeah, man, you know, like Revenge of the Nerds or something.
Yeah.
I know it's before your time, but it's that kind of concept that,
Yeah.
like, we're all individuals, so we can like each other for just you being you and me being me.
Yeah.
And it's not about, like, the system, you know, the ladder system of, you know, like, who we're going to crap on because it's less than us.
Yeah.
And everything. So even if you had your group that wasn't like that, there were groups like that out in your
definitely.
school.
Because people don't have the confidence to be themselves.
Right.
Like, they have to put on an image for someone else. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, it's bad in a way. No one can be original. They have to copy a certain person or look like another celebrity or whatever. They have to look like this. They have to look like that. And that really messes with people's mental health.
No,
like,
totally.
Social media and everything. It's like, you've got to have this amount of followers, this amount of likes. It's like, what? You just like labeled as a number. Like,
everything's binary, bruv. You know what I mean?
Stupid, isn't it?
You know, like, before we come to the end, though, I just think we should also mention that, like you were saying, and going back to you were saying that he's better now. Like, this was like an experience that he was doing the wrong meds for like 10 years, but like he's finally on the right meds.
Yeah, he's alright now. He's perfectly fine now, and he's coming back into work through volunteering, which is really good for people to do if they've had mental health problems as well. Just to get back into the workplace gradually, instead of trying to go straight into it from that. So if he's being introduced to it gradually, it'd take more time to get used to it, obviously, and you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, so it sounds like, you know, like coming from a background, I wouldn't want to say a hard life, but coming from a background where there's been these little struggles, there are these high points at the end. You know, like your uncle, you know, coming out of the other side, meeting or finding out about your brothers and everything else like that. You know, to the point where it could give you that feeling of like, I have family, isn't it? And I'm not alone.
Yeah, the anxiety and everything around that just went once I contacted my dad and found out about him and everything. So like, it's definitely good to like reach out to people that aren't there.
And you know, can you say like, did you contact him? Like, did you take that step?
Yeah, I did.
That's really good.
Because like with relationships I've been in, that it's like you feel like something's missing if like your dad's not around or anything like that. So it deals with your psychology behind stuff and mental.
Would you recommend that people do that?
Definitely.
I mean, because it's better than waiting for it to happen.
Yeah. The thing is, I could have done it 40 years later and it'd be like 60 or, you know.
And your brothers would be in their
60,
own lives.
70s, no?
Yeah. But and your brothers would be in their own lives, and you be in your own life, and all of that kind of stuff. So it'd be kind of, you know, different. You know, I mean, you could do it at any step of the stage, but pretty much the earliest. I mean, I was like 17 when I started that pilgrimage into finding my younger sister.
Yeah.
You know, and it's been like the best thing. You know, being able to then go through life. Even though they have their families and parents, whatever, so going through life, having those sisters, and everything. So
you have to give people second chances if they haven't been there, because there's no point holding grudges against people and just living your life like that. It's just you're not going to get anywhere like that.
But that's what I'm saying. The siblings themselves, they don't have a grudge, but it's just kind of like. You know, go, oh, okay, you know what I mean? And stuff, and
definitely,
and open that. So, as people know that when we're having artists on here at Condo Online for this Mental Health Awareness Week, we've been asking them to come into the studio with Royce and to, put together like a couple of bars, like about 4 bars each, to create this big collabo track. So it's going to be a track that will be out soon. Documentary following that as well. to go into the artist's mindset, into like what they want to say. So I had asked you, what message would you want to get out there around mental health?
I'd say learn to appreciate life as best as you can, definitely, and try to focus on what really matters to you instead of the small things that nag you in your own head that don't really matter. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just focus on what really matters to you.
Yeah.
Look at the bigger picture instead of what's just happening now.
You know, can I just say a little bit about that? Is like, you know, that ego voice in our heads is usually a voice that comes from the past, you know, of like where that pain resides. Do you know what I mean? And that struggle, and you know, and a lot of people have anger, anxiety, or stress around it. But in the present day, these are new people, new experiences. But all you're doing is vomiting the old experience onto them.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean? And that's
right
where,
that.
but that's where you're right as well. It's like, you know, that's where you need to kind of like look at things from that point of view, that it's like, it's not always going to be as painful as it was back there, you know, but you're the only one that knows because you're coming from back there.
Yeah.
So when you bring all that pain, then it's like, oh, look at this heavy load I got on my back. And you dump it on to like someone new. Hey, dude, what's going on? Hey, you do it. Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you know, so that would be really cool if you got something like that in there, because I mean, it's a thing that happens to people, you know, in their experience and everything, and how they deal with it. So, but I would just like to thank Dionysus for coming in here into the studio. You know, he's not even used to hearing himself be called Dionysus.
Actually.
See, look at that, bro. You know what I mean? That's all about the new me. I'm Dionysus. I'm here to party. You know what I mean? And no, exactly, because I just saw you at our hip hop party and everything, Halloween party, and you know, you on stage, like living your life, you know, into it. So I'm glad that you stuck with the music, and you know, and the choice that you're choosing in life. You know, City of Liverpool, I won't call it Coke anymore.
Let's hope they don't watch this.
Of course they will. They're big fans. Everybody calls it Coke. You can't go Coke. I mean, you're trying to say, let me hear you say the L.
Coke.
No, see, there you go.
Coke.
That's like in Hulk. That's like in Hulk.
No, I can't do it.
See, of course you can. So there you go. I mean, like, don't blame me, blame the school. But again, man, you know, thanks for coming in and giving us another perspective from a young person who is like still got a lot to give, and you know, and I look forward to your journey. Anything coming out now?
I have a few songs coming out in a few months' time. Once I've produced the instrumentals for it and put a video behind it, I'll be putting it up on the Instagram.
So how can people find you on your social media handles?
I can send you the link to put below the description, because I don't actually know my username yet.
Because you changed it.
That's right.
You know what I mean? People used to find you by...
Can't even remember.
Oh, he doesn't know. Yeah, right. I thought it was live Smith, but that's okay. That's all good. You know what I mean? You know this is live, right?
Yeah.
That means you have to watch the show, go back, watch the show, and then you go, I found my handle, and then type it into the chat below and everything. This is it. Yeah, feel free, bro. You know, because every time it comes out as if it's live. So, you know, when I say how can people find you, then you put it in at like 29 minutes in. So 29 minutes in, that means we're at the end. So once again, I want to thank Dionysus for coming into the studio. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please also feel free to comment in the chat and down below and everything, because your words matter. Everybody's words matter, and you know, talking about it helps to break the stigma around it all. You know, so I'm Chase John. Yeah, thank you. I'm Chase Johnson Lynch, and we out of here.